family? Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Today we got a different kind of video for you, man. Hope you guys are enjoying your weather, because it's the weather that's driving this one for me. Probably not gonna be talking through this whole video. Don't have a lot of voice, gotta save it. Haven't been feeling well, but we gotta get this done quickly. We got Zeus out here just purring away because, well, battery was kind of low. Yeah. So we had to move Zeus out, as you can see, and we got, hey man, I think I got a name, man. I think I got a name for the X5M. It comes from something that happened, I think it was Super Bowl or something like that, but we'll reveal that in a little bit. But first, I wanted to do a little bit of paint correction. We got some chips on here that we want to address. And then we are going to ceramic coat this car using Adams. This is the Graphene ceramic coating. Yeah, so it's the same stuff I used on the wheels. This is not, I can use this. There's a lot left in here. So we're gonna be using this right here. It's a 9-year ceramic coating. And now I gotta clean this desk. Now I'll be getting to all that talking, but what we're gonna do is slide into some narration. So this is the part of the video where we do some recording, mic recording. Give me a second. Before we get started with all this, let me show you what we're working with, guys. So these are going to be the tools that we're going to be working with through this process, starting with a little isopropyl alcohol, some microfiber towels, of course, Chipex, we're going to get into that a little bit later, and then our ceramic coating. And because we need a little energy, yeah, we're going to have to use this monster to get things going. We need it, man. It's one of those things. But give me just a second. Let's get into that Chipex. We have this glaze coating, it's a prep, and the actual paint. This prep is what we're going to need to get the area ready to adhere, or have the paint adhere to the surface. We got to clean it with that. And then, of course, we have our paint. And then we also, that's the paint code right there. We'll get into that later. The tools to apply our paint and also our coating, and then they give us some gloves and a towel, man. Kind of cool, right? So let's get into this process. So I started this process by washing the car. I clayed the car and let it dry overnight. I didn't want any water lingering anywhere, so we made sure the car was thoroughly dry. The next day, which is today, we got an opportunity to get out, and we start our process by wiping it down with some isopropyl alcohol. We want to make sure there's no oils, nothing hanging out on the car that we don't want on it that's going to hinder the process in any way. Well, I sped up this process, but of course, so you can just see the whole wipe down. But most importantly, guys, you want to make sure your surface is properly prepped. This is even before we get into the Chipex, because we want to make sure that, you know, even the areas that are not going to get Chipex are thoroughly cleaned before we start applying ceramic coating. 1 second. So starting with the front of the vehicle, I mentioned before that this is probably one of the cleanest examples I've seen of this car in a year. We do have some chips, not as bad as I've seen on others, but this is the focus of most of our Chipex work. As you can see, I applied some of these marks to it. I noticed the paint, I noticed that it's a little darker. I thought maybe Chipex was going to fade out a little bit as a wipe. It really didn't. It wasn't as bad as you can see. Not horrible. The chips were filled, but the paint match wasn't there. Chipex guarantees give you 100% guarantee, satisfaction guarantee. I wasn't satisfied. I called them. They're just gonna send me a new bottle of Chipex. But because I'm doing this, my graphene coating, well, probably not going to use what they sent me. But as we go through this process, again, I'm not concerned too much about that. The paint is very clean, as you can see from the reflection on the hood. I wanted to get some coating on there. The chips doesn't bother me as much, but we want to make sure we get going. Now, when we ceramic coating the car, one of the keys is making sure that that felt or that towel is fairly saturated in the very beginning, because this is the beginning. The challenge is making sure you have enough solution on the pad before you start going. So it was, I noticed, and I was able to see where I was laying the ceramic coating down on the car. And because I didn't know how far I can go with it, I want to just do a patch, like a quarter of the hood to get it going. Now remember, I used this on the wheels first, and I was able to do the entire side of a wheel and then wipe it off. But that's only a wheel, which is about the surface area of what I'm working with. As you can see, I am doing cross hatching, making sure we're getting complete and thorough coating. We let that haze over and flash out for about 20-30 seconds or so, and then we was able to wipe it down. It felt tacky at first, and that tack immediately went away, and it went super smooth. I don't know if you guys notice in the middle of the hood where you can see that reflection of whatever's hanging over. I think that's the Adams bottle. Man, it brightened really quickly right there where my hand is going. It brightened crazy quickly. I like this product. I installed it on the wheels, as I mentioned before, and it was a breeze, man. I found that I was able to do a little bit more area, considering the amount of time that I waited, which minimized the amount of time that I had to stand around. So I completed kind of what I started working this quarter of the hood first. But when I finished this section, I figured I could do that entire front of the car, at least the front of the hood, all in one hit, because I had time. I believe I had time to do it without having any issues. And I didn't have any issues. I didn't have any high marks or high areas of ceramic coating. It flashed out really nice, wiped off really beautifully smooth, and it absolutely looked amazing, guys. Like really looked good. So I did the entire car. Like, you know, once we get going with this, you see the hood. The process is the same as you work your way around a car. And at this period, we actually got everything done. We literally around the entire car, the hood, the floor, you name it. And well, this thing was looking amazing. I would also like to add that I did all the door jambs and all the glass mirrors. The only thing I didn't get a chance to thoroughly touch was the wheels. The wheels will have to be later, because they would have to come off the car for me to do it. So we're not quite there yet. But you can still see some of the dark areas from the Chipex that was darker than what they sent me. I'm really not concerned about it. Those dark areas, it is what it is. We're just gonna say that X5M has freckles. Yeah. Although I don't have as much voice and I had to do that voiceover, still got to close out. A lot of work. Took me about 3 hours to get this done. 3 or 4 hours. Started at 4, it ended 4:30, ended at 7:30. So a lot of work, no complaints. It looks amazing. So listen, guys, y'all know how we do, man. We don't do a normal around here. Why is that? Because we were designed from greatness. Because we're designed from greatness, you have the right, the responsibility, and authority to never be average. So guys, don't be